Alright, let's talk about tomes in Megabonk because honestly, they can make or break your entire run. Picking the right ones early on, that's basically like giving yourself a golden ticket to a monster run, but grab the wrong tomes and suddenly you're staring at a fizzled out run wondering what went wrong. I know it can feel super overwhelming with so many options, but don't worry, we're gonna break it down together. In this video, I'll guide you through which tomes are worth picking and which ones you might want to steer clear of. Think of it like having a friend whispering the secrets of Megabonk right into your ear. By the end of this, you'll feel way more confident making those tome choices and stacking the odds in your favor. Let's dive in and make sure your next run is an absolute banger. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking tomes in Megabonk. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The tomes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Golden Tome, Silver Tome, Attraction Tome, Chaos Tome, and Knockback Tome. You ever pick up something in a game and think, wow, this is amazing, only to realize 5 minutes later that it barely does anything? Yeah, that's the vibe we get with the D tier tomes in Megabonk. Let's break them down, laugh a little, and maybe cry a little too. First up, the Golden Tome. Sounds fancy, right? Increased gold gain from all sources, but here's the kicker, it's kinda redundant. You see, gold already comes rolling in like it's on a conveyor belt. The only time this tome shows some shine is if you're playing Robinette, because she gets a damage boost based on total gold in your inventory. But unless that's your strategy, it's basically just a shiny, slightly useless notebook. Next, the Silver Tome. This one is a bit more forgiving than its golden cousin. Early in the game, when you are scraping together silver like it's candy, it can actually help. But once you figure out the fast silver farming tricks, this tome becomes more of a nostalgic souvenir than anything else. Also, the bonus it gives is pretty tiny, so don't get too excited. Now, let's talk about the Attraction Tome. It increases your experience points pickup range. Sounds cool, right? Pick up experience without moving? Nice. But here's the truth. The increase is so minimal, you'd barely notice it. Other items like the Shrine of Suck or the Sucky Magnet do the exact same thing but way better as so. Plus, you can already get pickup range from charge shrines. Basically, this tome is like bringing a teaspoon to a soup eating contest. Chaos Tome is next, and boy, this one is a wild ride. It buffs a random stat every time you level up. Sounds exciting, but in reality, the multiplier is tiny and the randomness can completely ruin your carefully planned build. Imagine trying to boost your attack power and instead getting extra luck in dodge that you don't even care about. Fun? Not really. Stressful? Absolutely. Then there's the Knockback Tome. It increases the distance you push enemies back when hitting them. Beginners might find it kind of handy, sure, but here's the catch. It only works if you have a weapon or character with a knockback effect. And even then, it's really only useful for melee builds. Oh, and bosses? Yeah, sometimes they just ignore it completely. It's like bringing a pillow to a sword fight. Cute idea, poor execution. So yeah, D tier tomes are mostly just that, cute ideas that sound better than they actually are. They have niche uses, sure, but outside of those rare scenarios, they barely make a dent in your run. It's like buying a deluxe soda at a fancy restaurant. It tastes okay, but you're probably not missing out if you skip it. Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these tomes are beaten out by items. You know that feeling when you get a new weapon and suddenly realize your old stuff was trash? That's what happens here. Golden, silver, attraction, they all get outshined by other, more impactful gear. And we all love impactful gear, don't we? Honestly, the only joy D tier tomes really bring is nostalgia and maybe a little humor. Like Chaos Tome, whose random stat boosts can lead to the most ridiculous builds ever. Imagine maxing out something completely useless and still trying to fight your way through Megabonk. It's chaos, literally. If you're hunting for efficiency and power, these tomes are mostly placeholders, but if you want a quirky run and a few laughs along the way, hey, grab them. Just don't expect them to carry you through the game. D tier is more about novelty than necessity, and we can respect that. So there you have it. D tier tomes, fun, weird, occasionally helpful, but mostly a lesson in not every shiny thing is gold. Keep them around if you want to spice up your run with chaos and humor, but for serious gameplay, better leave them on the shelf and hunt for the good stuff. The tomes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Evasion Tome, Duration Tome, Cursed Tome, and Thorns Tome. You know those tomes that sound solid on paper, but make you go, maybe? That's basically C tier in Megabonk. They aren't terrible, but they're also not exactly game changers. Let's dive in and see what's actually worth your precious tome slots. First up, the Evasion Tome. Increase the chance of dodging attacks and taking no damage. Sounds like a lifesaver, right? And it can be if you're rocking a high mobility or evasion-based build. But here's the problem, it's heavily reliant on random chance and it doesn't scale very well. Plus, those huge area of effect attacks or massive enemy swarms, yeah, they laugh in the face of your evasion. Next is the Duration Tome. This one boosts the duration of attacks, projectiles, and status effects. So, if you're using weapons like Dragonfire, Flamewalker, or Frostwalker, it can actually help with crowd control. But here's the catch, you can get similar stats from Charge Shrines, and honestly, the utility doesn't always justify spending a full tome slot, especially if you've already got 2 or 3 tomes going. Then we've got the Cursed Tome. Now, this one is a love it or hate it kind of deal. It increases difficulty by throwing stronger, faster enemies at you. The upside, more experience points, more gold, more silver, and better loot. The downside, that difficulty spike can hit like a truck if you're not prepared. It only really shines if you're running the combo with the Experience Tome and Luck Tome. Otherwise, it's basically inviting chaos for no reason. And finally, the Thorns Tome. It's like giving your enemies a tiny electric shock every time they hit you. A passive attack seems nice, right? But the scaling is painfully slow. You only gain 1 thorn per level up, the tick damage is low, and it doesn't really get better. Oh, and it only works for melee builds, so if you're a range player, forget about it. C-tier tomes are kind of the maybe useful if you build around them category. They have their niches, but if you're just picking them up randomly, don't expect them to make your run a breeze. They're like garnish on a fancy plate. You notice it, it looks nice, but it won't feed you. The biggest theme with these tomes is that they require planning. Evasion and Thorns need specific builds, Duration is more situational, and Cursed Tome is basically a do you dare challenge. None of them are pick up and win kinds of items. Still, if you're looking to shake up your Megabonk runs and experiment a bit, C-tier tomes can make things interesting. Just don't go in expecting them to carry the load, they're more like spice than main course. So yeah, C-tier, situational, sometimes fun, sometimes frustrating, but always a conversation starter in your tome inventory. Pick wisely, and maybe you'll turn one of these maybe tomes into a hidden gem. The tomes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shield Tome, Armor Tome, Bloody Tome, and Regen Tome. Let's be real for a second. B-tier tomes are the solid, dependable, not flashy, but they get the job done kind of items in Megabonk. They don't make your eyes pop with excitement, but they keep you alive long enough to hit the real fun stuff. First up, the Shield Tome. This one's basically your personal bubble of safety. It adds a regenerating layer on your shield that absorbs all incoming damage and recharges automatically. It's a lifesaver against bosses and gives beginners a nice buffer. The best part, it works with any build. The downside, poor scaling means it starts to feel a bit weak in the late game. Next, the Armor Tome. This tome reduces damage from all sources. Think of it like a permanent defensive layer that makes surviving early and mid-game much easier. It's great, but it doesn't help much against boss level attacks. Plus, you'll need at least 5 upgrades for it to actually shine, which can tie up your other weapon or tome slots. Then there's the Bloody Tome. It heals your character for 1 point every time you hit an enemy, and you're guaranteed at least 1 heal when you go over 100%. Sometimes, you even get 2 heals per hit. It's a slow, steady trickle of health that keeps you alive. The catch, if your weapon doesn't hit multiple times or bounce around, healing can feel painfully slow, and bosses with burst damage? Yeah, they'll probably outpace it. The Regen Tome is the last B tier we're talking about. It steadily increases your HP regeneration per minute, giving you a continuous boost without relying on lifesteal. Perfect if you don't have other HP regen items, but just like the Bloody Tome, it starts off slow. Lifesteal or HP regen items generally stack better if you're really looking to max survivability. B-tier tomes are basically the safety net of your Megabonk adventures. You're not going to dominate with them, but they keep you breathing when things get rough. They're reliable, predictable, and honestly kind of comforting in a chaotic game. The theme with these tomes is survivability. Shield Tome, Armor Tome, Bloody Tome, and Regen Tome, they all make sure you stay in the fight longer. You don't have to plan your build around them, but having 1 or 2 can save you from a frustrating early death. If you're playing a more cautious or defensive run, B-tier tomes are your best friends. They won't turn the tide of battle dramatically, but they make every run feel a little safer and a lot less punishing. So yeah, B-tier, dependable, reliable, and quietly powerful. Not flashy, but in a game like Megabonk, sometimes keeping your health bar full is the real MVP move. The tomes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Damage Tome, Agility Tome, Precision Tome, Size Tome, and Projectile Speed Tome. Let's talk A-tier tomes, the tomes that make you feel like a total Megabonk legend. These are the ones that actually make a noticeable difference in your run, and picking them up feels like finding a cheat code, almost. First on the list is the Damage Tome. This one's pretty straightforward. It increases the damage of all your attacks. It buffs both your character's base damage and your weapons. If you stack it with other damage boosting items, you can start melting enemies in seconds. The only downside, the scaling is a bit slow, with a low multiplier of 0.08 per level. But even slow scaling doesn't make it any less satisfying to see your attacks hit harder. Next, we've got the Agility Tome. Speed is life, right? This tome increases your movement speed, which is a lifesaver for clunky characters or tank builds. You can dodge tricky swarms, evade boss attacks, and just generally feel like you're gliding through Megabonk. Seriously, nothing beats the feeling of zipping past danger while your friends are getting smacked around. Then comes the Precision Tome. If you're all about those critical hits, this is basically a must-have. It increases your crit chance and can even go above 100% for overcrit. The scaling is fast, giving you 7% per level, and there's no stack ceiling. Just remember, it really shines if you're also boosting your crit damage. Otherwise, you're shooting crits that don't quite sting. The Size Tome is next, and this one is just fun. It increases the size of all your weapons, which sounds silly until you see it in action. Melee weapons get longer, AoE weapons cover more ground, and even ranged projectiles become giant pain bringers for enemies. It's basically like turning your character into a walking, weapon-wielding juggernaut. Projectile Speed Tome comes after that. This one boosts the speed of all your weapon projectiles, meaning you hit enemies faster and more accurately. It's fantastic against fast-moving foes, and fewer missed attacks always feels good. Early on, it's extremely helpful, though in the late game, its effect starts to feel a bit less impactful. But hey, speed never hurts. What's amazing about A-tier tomes is that they improve both offense and mobility. Damage Tome makes you hit harder, Agility Tome makes you move faster, and Precision Tome ensures you hit critically. That's a combo that screams efficiency, and it's satisfying to watch enemies crumble under your power. Size Tome and Projectile Speed Tome add a fun, almost chaotic element to your attacks. Suddenly, your weapons feel bigger, faster, and more effective. The visual satisfaction alone makes these tomes feel worth it, not to mention the actual combat benefit. Stacking A-tier tomes can turn your run into an absolute spectacle. Imagine moving at insane speed, hitting enemies harder than ever, and critting left and right with massive AoE swings. It's chaos, but the controlled, super powerful kind. The best part? These tomes work well with pretty much any build. Whether you're a melee monster, a ranged sharpshooter, or a crit-focused glass cannon, there's something here to make your run noticeably stronger. So yeah, A-tier, impactful, satisfying, and a total blast to use. Grab these tomes, watch your attacks feel enormous, fast, and deadly, and enjoy the sweet feeling of being a Megabonk powerhouse. The tomes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: XP Tome, Luck Tome, Cooldown Tome, Quantity Tome, and HP Tome. S-tier tomes in Megabonk are the absolute crown jewels. These are the ones that make you feel unstoppable, like you're cheating without actually cheating. Pick one up, and suddenly everything starts to fall into place. First up, the Experience Tome. More experience points mean faster leveling, which means stronger weapons, stronger character stats, and faster runs. It's basically a must-have for every single build. Whether you're a glass cannon or a tank, leveling quickly is always a good idea, and this tome makes it effortless. Next, the Luck Tome. If you like shiny loot, chests overflowing with rare items, and maxed out stat offers at shrines, this is your best friend. Luck affects weapon and tome upgrades too, which means you can create the build of your dreams. Seriously, if you're not picking this up, you're missing out on the good stuff. The Cooldown Tome is where things get really wild. By increasing the attack speed of all your weapons, it makes even slow, high damage weapons feel insane. Imagine constantly firing projectiles that not only deal massive damage, but also act as a kind of protective shield around you. It's chaos, but the controlled, overpowered kind. Then there's the Quantity Tome. This tome increases the number of attacks and projectiles for every weapon. Whether you're swinging a melee weapon or shooting ranged attacks, everything hits harder, faster, and in bigger numbers. It works with basically every build, which makes it ridiculously versatile. The HP Tome is the defensive backbone of S tier. Increasing your maximum health is crucial if you want to clear multiple stages in one run. For low HP, high mobility characters like Calcium or CL4NK, it's basically the difference between surviving and getting annihilated. S tier tomes are all about creating that unstoppable force feeling. Experienced Tome powers up your character quickly. Luck the Tome fills your inventory with rare items. Cooldown and quantity tomes make you deal massive damage, and HP Tome keeps you alive while doing it. Stacking these tomes transforms your run from okay to holy cow, I'm a wrecking machine. You start melting enemies faster, surviving hits better, and getting rewards that make your character feel godlike. These tomes also synergize really well with each other. Fast attacks from cooldown tome plus extra projectiles from quantity tome, that's a hurricane of destruction. Add luck tome into the mix and you're upgrading every weapon like a pro while still leveling fast with XP tome. Basically, S tier tomes are the ones you want in every serious run. They make everything feel stronger, faster, and safer. If you pick these up, you're not just playing Megabonk, you're dominating it. So yeah, S tier is the top of the pyramid. These tomes don't just improve your run, they redefine it. Grab them, stack them, and watch as your enemies get absolutely shredded in style. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.